Hi, welcome to Fiction Fingers Fairy Channel. Please subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories, and don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you. After 5 years of marriage, Rachel and Brian still hadn't been blessed with children. Concerned about their inability to conceive, they decided it was time to seek medical advice. Sitting together in their cozy living room one evening, Rachel broached the subject with a heavy heart. "Brian, I think it's time we consider seeing a doctor," she said softly, her voice tinged with sadness. Brian nodded, his expression mirroring her concern. "I agree. It's been weighing on my mind too," he admitted, reaching out to gently squeeze her hand. With a mix of apprehension and hope, they made an appointment with a fertility specialist. As they sat in the waiting room of the hospital, their nerves were palpable, but they found solace in each other's presence, drawing strength from their shared determination to find answers. "Whatever happens, we'll face it together," Brian reassured Rachel, his eyes filled with unwavering love and support. Rachel smiled gratefully, feeling a surge of gratitude for having Brian by her side through thick and thin. "Thank you, Brian. I don't know what I'd do without you," she whispered, leaning in to rest her head on his shoulder. When they finally met with the doctor, they were met with kindness and understanding. The doctor explained the various tests and procedures they could undergo to determine the cause of their infertility, offering reassurance that they were not alone in their journey. As they underwent the necessary tests, Rachel and Brian leaned on each other for support, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Despite the uncertainty and challenges they faced, they found comfort in their love for each other, knowing that together they could overcome anything. A month after the tests were conducted, Rachel and Brian anxiously awaited their follow-up appointment with the doctor. As they sat in the doctor's office, their hearts pounding with anticipation, the doctor delivered the devastating news that Rachel's uterus was too weak to sustain a pregnancy. Rachel's eyes filled with tears as the reality of their situation sank in. "I don't know what to do, Brian," Rachel whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Brian wrapped his arms around her, offering words of comfort and reassurance. "We'll figure this out together, Rach. We're in this together, no matter what," he said, his voice filled with determination. Despite his own sadness, Brian remained steadfast in his support for Rachel, vowing to stand by her side no matter what. "If we can't have children biologically, I'm okay with adopting," he said, squeezing Rachel's hand gently. Rachel's heart swelled with love for her husband as she considered his selfless offer. "Thank you, Brian. That means everything to me," she replied, her voice choked with emotion. Turning to the doctor, Rachel sought guidance on their options moving forward. With a heavy heart, she broached the subject of surrogacy and IVF, hoping for a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. The doctor listened attentively, explaining the process of using a surrogate mother and undergoing IVF treatment. "It's definitely a viable option for you both," the doctor confirmed, offering a ray of hope in their time of need. Feeling a sense of relief wash over her, Rachel looked to Brian with gratitude in her eyes. "We can do this, Brian. We can still have a family," she said, a faint smile gracing her lips. Brian nodded, his heart filled with determination to make their dreams of parenthood a reality, no matter the obstacles they faced. "We'll take this one step at a time, Rach. Together," he affirmed, his love for Rachel unwavering in the face of adversity. Leaving the doctor's office hand in hand, Rachel and Brian felt a renewed sense of hope and optimism for the future. Though their journey to parenthood may be different than they had originally imagined, they knew that with love, perseverance, and the support of each other, they could overcome any challenge that came their way. A few days later, when Rachel and Brian found a moment of respite from their busy work schedules, Rachel broached the topic of finding a surrogate mother for their IVF journey. Sitting together in the cozy comfort of their living room, Rachel looked at Brian with a determined expression. "Brian, I think it's time we start discussing our options for finding a surrogate," Rachel began, her voice tinged with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Brian nodded, his eyes reflecting Rachel's determination. "I agree. Let's explore all avenues and see what feels right for us," he replied, his voice filled with unwavering support. Together, They brainstormed ideas, from reaching out to family members and close friends for potential surrogacy candidates, to considering the possibility of placing an advertisement to find a surrogate. "I think we should start by talking to our families and friends. Maybe someone close to us would be willing to help," Rachel suggested, her mind racing with possibilities. Brian nodded in agreement. "That's a good idea. It would be comforting to have someone we know and trust to be our surrogate," he replied, his thoughts aligning with Rachel's. After much deliberation, they decided to cast a wider net by creating an advertisement seeking a surrogate mother. With careful consideration, they crafted a heartfelt message outlining their journey and their hopes for the future. "It's a big step, but I think it's the right one for us," Rachel said, her voice filled with conviction as they posted the advertisement online. Brian squeezed Rachel's hand affectionately, his heart filled with gratitude for her unwavering strength and determination. "We'll find the perfect surrogate, Rach." "I know we will," he reassured her, his eyes reflecting his unwavering faith in their journey. As they embarked on this new chapter of their IVF journey, Rachel and Brian felt a sense of optimism and hope for the future. With each step they took together, they knew they were one step closer to realizing their dream of starting a family. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Rachel and Brian's search for a surrogate mother proved to be more challenging than they had anticipated. Despite reaching out to family members and close friends, they faced disappointment after disappointment, as each potential candidate had their own reasons for being unable to help. "It's okay, Rachel. We'll figure this out together," Brian reassured her one evening, his voice filled with empathy and understanding. Rachel nodded, her heart heavy with a sense of guilt and compassion for their loved ones who were unable to assist them. "I know, Brian, but I can't help feeling like we're letting everyone down," she admitted, tears glistening in her eyes. Their families and friends, while supportive, also had their own priorities and responsibilities to consider. The prospect of carrying a child for 9 months and then parting with them was a daunting one, and Rachel and Brian understood the weight of such a decision. "We have to respect their choices, Rach. They're doing what's best for themselves and their families," Brian said, his tone gentle yet resolute. Despite their disappointment, Rachel and Brian remained steadfast in their determination to realize their dream of starting a family. They knew that finding a surrogate mother who was willing and able to help them would take time, patience, and perhaps even a stroke of luck. "It's not easy, but we'll get through this together," Rachel said, her voice filled with quiet determination. Brian nodded in agreement, taking Rachel's hand in his as they faced the uncertainties of their journey with unwavering resolve. "We'll keep trying, Rach. Someday, our miracle will come," he said, his words carrying a glimmer of hope amidst the challenges they faced. With their other options exhausted, Rachel and Brian realized that their best chance of finding a surrogate mother lay in the advertisement they had posted. With each phone call and meeting they had in response to their advertisement for a surrogate mother, Rachel and Brian found themselves faced with stringent conditions and exorbitant financial demands. Despite their willingness to pay whatever was necessary, they couldn't shake off the nagging fear that these surrogates might prioritize their own interests over the well-being of their unborn child. "I'm worried, Brian. What if these surrogates are only in it for the money?" Rachel confided one evening, her voice tinged with apprehension. Brian's brow furrowed with concern as he took Rachel's hand in his, offering her a reassuring squeeze. "I understand, Rach, but we can't lose hope. We'll find someone who shares our values and genuinely wants to help," he replied, his tone filled with determination. As they continued to encounter potential surrogates who seemed more interested in financial gain than in helping them fulfill their dream of parenthood, Rachel and Brian grappled with a sense of disillusionment and frustration. "It's like finding a needle in a haystack," Rachel remarked with a sigh, her frustration evident in her voice. Brian nodded in agreement, his mind racing with possible solutions. "We might need to consider alternative avenues or seek professional assistance," he suggested, his tone thoughtful. Despite the challenges they faced, Rachel and Brian refused to lose sight of their ultimate goal. They remained resilient in their pursuit, of finding a surrogate mother who shared their values and would prioritize the well-being of their future child above all else. "We'll keep searching, Rach. We won't give up until we find the right surrogate," Brian vowed, his unwavering determination echoing Rachel's own resolve. As they navigated the complexities of their search, Rachel and Brian leaned on each other for support, drawing strength from their love and unwavering commitment to building a family together. Though the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty, they remained united in their belief that their miracle was out there, waiting to be found. "Thank you for always being there for me, Brian, and I am sorry that I can't get pregnant," said Rachel one day. "Rachel, you are more than enough just the way you are," Brian replied, his voice filled with sincerity. "Your strength, kindness, and unwavering love make you the most amazing woman I know. You don't need to apologize for something that is beyond your control." Feeling a sense of gratitude wash over her, Rachel wrapped her arms around Brian, burying her face in his chest. In that moment, she realized that she was blessed to have a partner who loved her unconditionally, flaws and all. To be continued.